Hello. Hi. Wait, I'll take my book down because I'm not reading it. Hello, good evening. Hi. Oh my word, I never went through my followers and my subby goals. I have to change those. Hold on, everybody. Let's go on an adventure real quick. Oh my god, how loud is my typing? Hopefully it's not too loud. You know what? I'm gonna mute. Give me 2 seconds. Okay. Click. And I click. And I click. Okay. So my subs are at 42. Let's put my goal for 55. And what was that? Oh my god, it's my dog. Okay, subbies are fixed. Not too loud. Perfect. No, click for real. And follower 300 incoming. What should my follower goal be? That's the big question. Cause I'm at what, 298 right now? Oh my god, I'm so close to 300. That's crazy. What if I do 400? 400? I feel like you're shooting for the stars there with that one. What if I do 330? That's 32. What about 330, you know? Because then that's 32 more followers. I don't know though. 400 on the dot looks nice. But you don't want such a big goal. Because then, look at that bar. Look at how far you've got to fill up that bar. It's so much. I'm not certain. I don't know. What if 350? Yeah. Let's try that one. Let's see how well that goes. 350. Okay, I can deal with that one. That looks pretty good to me. Okay, those are fixed. 335 is the tech. Yeah, I like 350. That's what we'll go with. Oh, okay. So you might notice there's something I'm doing temporarily. So I see that everybody does these. You give a sub, or you just subscribe, and you get a name on the body. But I figured that I wanted to do something a little more in theme. So for me instead, it's every sub gets your name on the crew manifest. No. It's every new sub. Cute face. Okay. Boom. Okay, we are setting up. Hi, Luffy. And you're eating Pez like a Pez dispenser at 1 a.m. It's okay. I'm glad you're here. Also, Luffy, I like your 99 Nights in the Forest little badge. Pizza rolls. What flavor? I personally love the pepperoni flavors. That's the one. That's the winner right there. Okay, give me a few more seconds. There we go. Okay, let me make sure everything is up and running this time. Mix it up for my commands. Is up. Yes. Okay. VTube, VBridger, OBS, obviously. Shoost, Dylan. Dylan. Oh my god. Thank you so much. Look. Oh my, no. The alerts are right over the manifest. I'm gonna have to move that. Hold on. Where are my alerts at? There they are. Oh. Let's put them. How about right there? Is that a good spot? Or should we move them? Do we like them right there? Maybe that's fine. Either way. Hi, Dylan. Thank you. And look, the funny thing is, knowing you and your history, when I was setting this up, I expected, I know you. So I was like, oh, he might give subs. So look, I already had you set up. I just have to adjust you. Hold on. Let me move you up over here. There you, oh, no, you're too far to the left. Hold on. No, now you're so small. How's that? Much better, much better, much better. Now, how does that look? Do we think I need to enlarge it? Do we think I need to change the color? No. I just know you. You always give them out at the end. And I was like, I wonder if I open with this, will he open the subs? And the answer is yes. Yes, you would. That's so funny. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. That would be a plot twist. And hi, Alejandro. Welcome in. Yeah, no, it is a giggling stream. It's another one of those. But that's so funny. Alejandro, you were gifted a sub. I hope you like it. Oh, okay, so I hope so. So this is temporary because hi Falcon, hello. Hi, welcome in. But this is temporary because I had an idea. Thank you, Avi. My idea, and hear me out on this one. It's the reason I added some things to my throne earlier. My idea is that I would get a hand cam that would stream the book. So I would get the books physically so that you guys could follow along if you wanted, rather than just sitting here and looking at my model. But I would get a hand cam to stream the book. But because I would have the physical book, every time someone subbed, I would write your name in the margins of the books next to the line I was reading when you subscribed. That way I would have your subscription forever memorialized for me whenever I go back to reread the books. And it's always like, oh, they subscribed right here. I think it'd be so fun and a fun little memorial. So that's the goal. That's what the cameras are for. Oh, that was my foot. But of course, I don't know when that'll happen. So for now, we're gonna have this little temporary crew manifest on the screen. Hello, Char. Hello. Welcome in. How are you? We're reading tonight. We're gonna read. Oh, thank you for the like morale. Hello. Oh, also Falcon, thank you for the follow. I'm so sorry. I was so focused on explaining stuff that I missed it. Thank you for the follow. But we're gonna read what I guess I dream level 2. Let's go. What I guess is the second Sherlock book. There is no actual order to them. I think the one that I read kind of sort of is first because it's like his introduction. But from there, I don't think there's any specific order. I think it's whichever I'm trying to grab my water bottle for in case there's any hydrate redeems. Okay, but it's whichever order that you want to do. But I am going through and doing what I think is publication order. I'm not certain. I just looked up the order of the books and this one came in next, so it's okay, Char, don't worry about it. We are glad to have you, whether you talk or not. It is so fine. Thank you so much. So, this one is called, let's go looky. This one's called The Sign of the Four. Don't know what that means, but I guess we'll find out. So, we are gonna get started, which means I have to bring my book back. Yes, I did update it. Oh, hi, sorry, thank you. I don't know why you said hi, but thank you for the follow. And yes, I am trying to be on top of it. If you notice, lurk bait fishing was ready from the get-go today. I didn't have... No, it's the same book. I haven't gotten a new book. I should get one. Thank you for the headbands. Thank you so much. It's a Sherlock story. He's got like maybe like 5 or so books. So we're gonna read all the Sherlocks and then I'll figure out what we read next. Because we gotta make sure we stay away from copyright. So my options are limited, but we will figure it out. Okay. And also, yay! Char, you were my 300th follower. Let's go. I reached 300. That's awesome. Okay. Are we ready? We're gonna start reading. I'm gonna pull my book a little closer. That should be good. Okay. Alright. Here we go. Chapter 1. The Science of Deduction. Sherlock Holmes took his bottle from the corner of the mantelpiece and his hypodermic syringe from its neat morocco case. With his long, white, nervous fingers, he adjusted the delicate needle and rolled back his shirt cuff. We're starting off with Sherlock poking himself with a syringe. Is he taking more blood? Because I remember in the other book, he took his own blood to test poisons. So, I guess this is very on brand for him. For some little time, his eyes rested thoughtfully upon the sinewy forearm. Faith! Hello! Oh my word, yes! Faith! Hi, Faith. Everyone, go follow Faith. She's starting out new like me. We're both in it together. She does actual triggers, and she's so good. She's so good. Hello. Hi. She is a vampire librarian. Her model's so cool. Hello. Thank you for coming in. And hi, got any Scooby snacks? Thank you for the follow. Oh, of course, Bailiff. Of course. Absolutely. And thank you for the lurk. triggers. Oh, not disguise. Hi, J Titans. Thank you for. Oh, okay, well, first off, thank you for the follow. And second off, chillin'. Thank you for the gifted sub. It's so nice. Hi, Sandra's Ghost. Thank you so much for the follow. Me and my little disguise. You're so silly. But I'll figure out something for readers, because I don't know what they're supposed to be able to get. I don't do triggers, but I want to be able to do something, so I'll figure it out. Thank you again. Okay. Here. On my roof. On mine. My roof. Oh no. Get out from there. You're gonna drown. I'm under the water. You're gonna drown. Okay. I was in the middle of the sentence. For some little time, his eyes rested thoughtfully upon the sinewy forearm and wrist, all dotted and scarred with innumerable puncture marks. Oh God, Sherlock. Finally, he thrust the sharp point home, pressed down on the tiny piston, and sank back into the velvet-lined armchair with a long sigh of satisfaction. He is a weirdo. You're in my window. I don't see you. Oh no. 3 times a day, for many months, I had witnessed this performance, but custom had not reconciled my mind to it. On the contrary, from day to day, I had become more irritable at the sight, and my conscience swelled nightly within me at the thought that I had lacked the courage to protest. Hi, Ruby. Thank you so much for the follow. You're a fun little bit of a promotion. I will not watch Ruby though. Don't hate me. Don't hate me. I don't think the art style is for me. But I love that you love it so much. You're out here, showing it off and telling people about it. That's awesome. Again and again. Hi, Ian. Hello. I had registered a vow that I should deliver my soul upon the subject, but there was that in the cool, nonchalant air of my companion which made him the last man with whom one would care to take anything approaching to a liberty. His great powers, his masterly manner, and the experience which I had had of his many extraordinary qualities all made me diffident and backward in crossing him. Nonchalant. Yeah. I don't hear much about Ruby anymore, honestly, because it's old, isn't it? Did it end on a cliffhanger? Did it end unfinished? Yet, upon that afternoon, whether it was the bune which I had taken with my lunch, or the additional exasperation produced by the extreme deliberation of his manner, I suddenly felt that I could hold out no longer. Oh, it did? That sucks. That always sucks when that happens. Also, quick question. Is my background sound, can you hear it? Or do I need to turn it up? Please let me know. Thank you. Which is it today? I asked. Morphine or cocaine? What? He raised his eyes languidly from the old black letter volume chart. Yeah. And what do you mean both? I need to raise it. I need to raise my background. Huh? Huh? It is cocaine, he said. A 7% solution. Would you care to try it? Give you both. Of what? My background? Is that what you're meaning? Let me turn it up a smidge. Is that better? Let me know. Please and thank you. No, indeed, I answered brusquely. My constitution has not got over the Afghan campaign yet. I could not afford to throw any extra strain upon it. He smiled at my vehemence. Perhaps you were right, Watson, he said. Good night, Chart. Have a wonderful night. Thank you. Char. You're the god to me. But thank you so much for being here. Good night. Oh, and thank you for the headbands. I suppose that its influence is physically a bad one. I find it, however, so transcendently stimulating and clarifying to the mind that its secondary action is a matter of small moment. But consider, I said earnestly, count the cost. Your brain may, as you say, be roused and excited, but it is a pathological and morbid process which involves increased tissue change and may at last leave a permanent weakness. You know, too, what a black reaction comes upon you. Surely the game is hardly worth the candle. I don't know what that sound was. Why should you, for a mere passing pleasure, risk the loss of those great powers with which you have been endowed? Remember that I speak not only as one comrade to another, but as a medical man to one for whose constitution he is to some extent answerable. Hi, Coral. Hi, welcome back. Hey, good evening. It's so lovely to see you here again. Hello. You caught me at the beginning of my stream tonight. Let's go. Rather than the middle of it. He did not seem offended. On the contrary, he put his fingertips together and leaned his elbows on the arms of his chair, like one who has a relish for conversation. Good job, only 12% stinky. You smell pretty good. My mind, he said, rebels at stagnation. Give me problems. That's so sweet. What the heck? Thank you. Oh, I love that. Thank you so much. Oh, it's so sweet. Another 5 months. Right. With only being 12% stinky, you got it. You're good. Hi, IDK. Welcome in. Let's go. Give me problems. Give me work. Give me the most abstruse cryptogram or the most intricate analysis, and I am in my own proper atmosphere. I can dispense them with artificial stimulants, but I abhor the dull routine of existence. I crave for mental exaltation. That is why I have chosen my own particular profession, or rather created it, for I am the only one in the world. You've been here. Oh, yeah, didn't you get first? I can't go back, but you got first, didn't you? Oops. The only unofficial detective, I said, raising my eyebrows. The only unofficial consulting detective, he answered. I am the last and highest court of appeal in detection. When Gregson or Lestrade or Athelney Jones are out of their depths, which, by the way, is their normal state. The matter is laid before me. I examine the data as an expert and pronounce a specialist's opinion. I claim no credit in such cases. My name figures in no newspaper. The work itself, the pleasure of finding a field for my peculiar powers, is my highest reward. But you have yourself had some experience of my methods of work in the Jefferson Hope case. Yes, that's the one we read. Hi, EMR, hi. Hello. Yes, indeed, said I cordially. I was never so struck by anything in my life. I even embodied it in a small brochure with the somewhat fantastic title of A Study in Scarlet. He shook his head sadly. I glanced over it, said he. Honestly, oh no, my mouse. Honestly, I cannot congratulate you upon it. Detection is, or ought to be, an exact science, and should be treated in the same cold and unemotional manner. You have attempted to tinge it with romanticism, which produces much the same effect as if you worked a love story or an elopement into the fifth proposition of Euclid. But the romance was there, I remonstrated. I could not tamper with the facts. Some facts should be suppressed, or at least a just sense of proportion should be observed in treating them. The only point in the case which deserved mention was the curious analytical reasoning from effects to causes by which I succeeded in unraveling it. Oh my gosh, he's so freaking cocky. I was annoyed at the criticism. Okay, your gamble distracted me. Do what you want. Good job. Do it. I can't do it properly when I'm quiet. I was annoyed at this criticism of a work, thank you for the headphones, which had been specially designed to please him. I confess, too, that I was irritated by the egotism which seemed to demand that every line of my pamphlet should be devoted to his own special doings. More than once, during the years that I lived with him in Baker Street, I had observed that a small vanity underlay my companion's quiet and didactic manner. I made no remark, however, but sat nursing my wounded leg. I had a Giselle bullet through it some time before, and, though it did not prevent me from walking, it ached wearily at every change of the weather. My practice has extended recently to the continent, said Holmes after a while, filling up his old briar root pipe. I was consulted last week by Francis Les Villiard, who, as you probably know, has come rather to the front lately in the French detective service. I don't know what that noise was. He has all the Celtic power of quick intuition, but he is defiant in the wide range of exact knowledge which is essential to the higher developments of his art. The case was concerned with a will and possessed some features of interest. I was able to refer him to two parallel cases, the one at Riga in 1857 and the other of St. Louis in 1871, which have suggested to him the true solution. Here is the letter which I had this morning acknowledging my assistance. He tossed over, as he spoke, a crumpled sheet of foreign notepaper. I glanced my eyes down it, catching a profusion of notes of admiration, with stray magnifiques, coupes de maîtres, and tours de force, all testifying to the ardent admiration of the Frenchman. He speaks as a pupil to his master, said I. Oh, he rates my assistance too highly, said Sherlock Holmes lightly. He has considerable gifts himself. He possesses 2 out of the 3 qualities necessary for the ideal detective. He has the power of observation and that of deduction. He is only wanting in knowledge, and that may come in time. He is now translating my small works into French. Your works? Oh, didn't you know? He cried, laughing. Yes, I have been guilty of several monographs. They are all upon technical subjects. Here, for example, is one upon the distinction between the ashes of the various tobaccos. In it, I enumerate 140 forms of cigar, cigarette, and pipe tobacco, with colored plates illustrating the difference in the ash. I forgot that Sherlock was really good at, for some reason, smoking and the ashes of cigars and the such. What a peculiar fellow. It is a point which is continually turning up in criminal trials, and which is sometimes of supreme importance as a clue. If you can say definitively, for example, that some murder... Hi, Mr. Manager. Hi. Thank you for being here. And which is sometimes... Oh, I already said that. If you can say definitively, for example, that some murder has been done by a man who is smoking an Indian lunka, it obviously narrows your field of search. To the trained eye, there is as much difference between the black ash of a trichinopoly and the white fluff of bird's eyes as there is between a cabbage and a potato. You have extraordinary genius for minutiae, I remarked. I appreciate their importance. Here is my monograph upon the tracing of footsteps, with some remarks upon the uses of plaster of Paris as a preserver of impresses. Here, too, is a curious little work upon the influence of a trade upon the form of the hand, with lithotypes of the hands of slaters, sailors, cork cutters, compositors, weavers, and diamond polishers. That is a matter of great practical interest to the scientific detective, especially in cases of unclaimed bodies or in discovering the antecedents of criminals. But I weary you with my hobby. Not at all, I answered earnestly. It is of the greatest interest to me, especially since I have had the opportunity of observing your practical application of it. But you spoke just now of observation and deduction. Surely the one to some extent implies the other. Why, hardly, he answered, leaning back luxuriously in his armchair and sending up thick blue wreaths of his pipe. For example, observation shows me that you have been to the Wigmore Street post office this morning, but deduction lets me know that when there you dispatched a telegram. Right, said I, right on both points, but I confess that I don't see how you arrived at it. Thanks for the disguise. It was a sudden impulse upon my part, and I have mentioned it to no one. It is simplicity itself, he remarked, chuckling at my surprise. So absurdly simple that an explanation is superfluous, and yet it may serve to define the limits of observation and of deduction. Observation tells me that you have a little reddish mold adhering to your instep, just opposite the Seymour Street office, It really does. It's pretty good. They have taken up the pavement and thrown up some earth, which lies in such a way that it is difficult to avoid treading in it when entering. The earth is of this peculiar reddish tint which is found, as far as I know, nowhere else in the neighborhood. So much is observation. The rest is deduction. How then did you deduce the telegram? Why, of course, I knew that you had not written a letter, since I sat opposite to you all morning. I see also, in your open desk there, that you have a sheet of stamps and a thick bundle of postcards. What could you go into the post office for then, but to send a wire? Eliminate all other factors, and the one which remains must be the truth. In this case, it certainly is so, I replied after a little thought. The thing, however, is, as you say, of the simplest. Would you think me impertinent if I were to put your theories to a more severe test? On the contrary, he answered, it would prevent me from taking a second dose of cocaine. Sherlock's a druggie too, it's freaking crazy. Silly. I should be delighted to look into any problem based which you might submit to me. I have heard you say that it is difficult for a man to have any object in daily use without leaving the impress of his individuality upon it in such a way that a trained observer might read it. Swanky, out here admitting to doing good cocaine. You can't just go admitting that. Jeez, you gotta be quiet about it. Now, I have here a watch which has recently come into my possession. Would you have the kindness to let me have an opinion upon the character or habits of the late owner? I handed him over the watch with some slight feeling of amusement in my heart, for the test was, as I thought, an impossible one, and I intended it as a lesson against the somewhat dogmatic tone which he occasionally assumed. He balanced the watch in his hand, gazed hard at the dial, opened the back, and examined. Hi, Snappy. Thank you so much for the follow. Examined the works. First, Hentai Lord, thank you for the follow. First with his naked eyes, and then with a powerful convex lens. I could hardly keep from smiling at his crestfallen face. Hey, look, a man likes what he likes. When he finally snapped the case to and handed it back. There are hardly any data, he remarked. That's right. You keep a watch on that mouth for that name of yours. As long as it's nothing bad, I'm sure you're fine to say it. The watch has been recently cleaned, which robs me of my most suggestive facts. You are right, I answered. It was cleaned before being sent to me. In my heart, I accused my companion of putting forward a most lame and impotent excuse to cover his failure. What data could he expect from an uncleaned watch? Though unsatisfactory, my research has not been entirely barren, he observed, staring up at the ceiling with dreamy, lackluster eyes. Subject to your correction, I should judge that the watch belonged to your elder brother, who inherited it from your father. That you gather, no doubt, from the HW upon the back. Quite so. The W suggests your own name. The date of the watch is nearly 50 years back, and the initials are as old as the watch. So, it was made for the last generation. Jewelry usually descends to the eldest son, and he is most likely to have the same name as the father. Your father has, if I remember right, been dead many years. I love to read. I love it so much. It's so fun. It is a shame you are missing out. It has, therefore, been in the hands of your eldest brother. Right so far, said I. Anything else? He was a man of untidy habits, very untidy and careless. He was left with good prospects, but he threw away his chances, lived for some time in poverty, with occasional short intervals of prosperity, and finally, taking to drink, he died. Hi, Jonny. Hello. You like my emotes? They're cute, aren't they? Welcome in. That is all I can gather. I sprang from my chair and limped. I was laughing at Jonny for spamming my emotes in their first message. Clearly they like him. I was just laughing at that. Sorry. Sorry. I sprang from my chair and limped impatiently about the room with considerable bitterness in my heart. This is unworthy of you, Holmes, I said. I could not have believed that you would have descended to this. You have made inquiries into the history of my unhappy brother, and you now pretend to deduce this knowledge in some fanciful way. You cannot expect me to believe that you had read all of this from his old watch. It is unkind and, to speak plainly, has a touch of charlatanism in it. My dear doctor, he said kindly, pray accept my apologies. Viewing the matter as an abstract problem, I have forgotten how personal and painful a thing it might be to you. I assure you, however, that I never even knew that you had a brother until you handed me the watch. Then how, in the name of all that is wonderful, did you get these facts? They are absolutely correct in every particular. Ah, that is good luck. I could only say what was the balance of probability. I did not at all expect to be so accurate. But it was not mere guesswork. No, I never guess. It is a shocking habit, destructive to the logical faculty. What seems strange to you is only so because you do not follow my train of thought or observe the small facts upon which large inferences may depend. Give me 1 second. I had to readjust my foot and I knew that was going to be loud, so I muted. He was falling asleep. No, I don't think he's calling him dumb. I think that, what is this dude's name? Winston, Walton, something, let's call him Winston. I think that, Winston is offended that Sherlock is bringing up his brother who recently died by saying that he found out about him through this watch he handed him. And Sherlock is, no, I'm not trying to lie to you and pull on your leg and say I already knew about your brother and that I gathered it from the watch. I truly did. And I only was able to guess it because it's high probability. And I think Winston, or whatever his name is, I'm very bad with names, I think that he's just upset and Sherlock is trying to calm him down. I think that's what's happening. Winton. Winton? Or... yeah, that is an Overwatch character, isn't it? For example, I begin by stating that your brother was careless. When you observe the lower part of that watch case, you notice that it is not only dinted in 2 places, but it is cut and marked all over from the habit of keeping other hard objects, such as coins or keys, in the same pocket. Surely, it is no great feat to assume that a man who treats a 50-guinea watch so cavalierly must be a careless man. Neither is it a very far-fetched inference that a man who inherits one article of such value is pretty much well provided for in other aspects. I nodded to show that I followed his reasoning. It is very customary for pawnbrokers in England, when they take a watch, to scratch the number of the ticket with a pin point upon the inside of the case. It is more handy than a label, as there is no risk of the number being lost or transposed. There are no less than 4 such numbers visible to my lens on the inside of this case. Inference that your brother was often at low water. Secondary inference that he had occasional bursts of prosperity, or he could have not redeemed the pledge. Finally, I ask you to look at the inner plate, which contains the keyhole. Look at the thousands of scratches all around the hole, marks where the key has slipped. What sober man's key could have scored those grooves? But you will never see a drunkard's watch without them. He winds it at the night, and he leaves these traces of his unsteady hand. Where is the mystery in all of this? It is as clear as daylight, I answered. I regret the injustice which I did you. I should have had more faith in your marvelous faculty. May I ask whether you have any professional inquiry on foot at present? None. Hence the cocaine. Sorry. I cannot live without brain work. What else is there to live for? Stand at the window here. Was ever such a dreary, dismal, unprofitable world? See how the yellow fog swirls down the street and drifts across the dun-colored houses. What could be more hopelessly prosaic and material? What is the use of having powers, Doctor, when one has no field upon which to exert them? Crime is commonplace. Existence is commonplace, and no qualities, save those which are commonplace, have any function upon earth. I had opened my mouth to reply to this tirade, when a crisp knock, our landlady entered, bearing a card upon the brass salver. "A young lady for you, sir," she said, addressing my companion. "Miss Mary Morstan," he read. I have no recollection of the name. Ask the young lady to step up, Mrs. Hudson. Don't go, Doctor. I should prefer that you remain. That's the end of the first chapter. A good little reminder that Sherlock is freaking amazing. That he is so good. Clap, 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 clap. Okay, chapter 2. The statement of the case. Miss Morstan entered the room with a firm step and an outward composure of manner. She was a blonde young lady, small, dainty, well-gloved, and dressed in the most perfect taste. There was, however, a plainness and simplicity about her costume which bore with it a suggestion of limited means. The dress was a somber grayish beige, untrimmed and unbraided, and she wore a small turban of the same dull hue, relieved only by a suspicion of white feather in the side. Her face had neither regularity of feature nor beauty of complexion, but her expression was sweet and amiable, and her large blue eyes were singularly spiritual and sympathetic. In an experience of women which extends over many nations and 3 separate continents, I have never looked upon a face which gave a clear promise of a refined and sensitive, it was on a paragraph break, sensitive nature. I could not but observe that as she took the seat which Sherlock Holmes placed for her, her lip trembled, her hand quivered, and she showed every sign of intense inward agitation. Oh no, you lost all your seaweed. Oh my word, you had 113,000 of it too. That sucks. Oh. Do you hear the cat food downstairs? The automatic cat feeders, do you hear them? They just went off. I'm all the way upstairs with my door closed. Except my door isn't closed. My door is cracked. Oh yeah, that'll do it. I never close my door. Oh well. I have come to you, Mr. Holmes, she said, because you once enabled my employer, Mrs. Cecil Forrester, to unravel a little domestic complication. She was much impressed by your kindness and skill. Miss Cecil Forrester, he repeated thoughtfully. I believe that I was of some slight service to her. The case, however, as I remember it, was a very simple one. She did not think so, but at least you cannot say that the same of mine. I can hardly imagine anything more strange, more utterly inexplicable than the situation in which I find myself. Holmes rubbed his hands, and his eyes glistened. He leaned forward in his chair with an expression of extraordinary concentration upon his clear-cut, hawk-like features. State your case, he said, in brisk business tones. I felt that my position was an embarrassing one. You will, I am sure, excuse me, I said, rising from my chair. To my surprise, the young lady held up her gloved hand to detain me. If your friend, she said, would be good enough to stop, he might be of inestimable service to me. I relapsed into my chair. Briefly, she continued, the facts are these. My father was an officer in an Indian regiment who sent me home when I was quite a child. My mother was dead, and I had no relative in England. I was placed, however, in a comfortable boarding establishment at Edinburgh, and there I remained until I was 17 years of age. In the year 1878, my father, who was senior captain of his regiment, obtained 12 months' leave and came home. He telegraphed to me from London that he had arrived all safe and directed me to come down at once, giving the Langham Hotel as his address. His message, as I remember, was full of kindness and love. On reaching London, I drove to the Langham and was informed that Captain Morson was staying there, but that he had gone out the night before and had not yet returned. I waited all day without news of him. That night, on the advice of the manager of the hotel, I communicated with the police, and next morning we advertised in all of the papers. Our inquiries led to no result, And from that day to this, no word has ever been heard of my unfortunate father. He came home. Hi Sage, thank you so much for the follow. He came home. I will find it. I shall find my spot. Oh, there's no way. Okay. He came home with his heart full of hope to find some peace, some comfort, and instead, she put her hand to her throat, and a choking sob cut short the sentence. The date, asked Holmes, opening his notebook. He disappeared upon the 3rd of December, 1878. Nearly 10 years ago. What? Why are you coming to these guys 10 years later? What do you hope for them to solve? It's been 10 years. His luggage remained at the hotel. There was nothing in it to suggest a clue. Some clothes, some books, and a considerable number of curiosities from the Andaman Islands. He had been one of the officers. Hi, EJ. Hello. You got to come at this. Oh my god, not disguise. You got to come in relatively kind of sort of at the start of the stream. I would say I'm kind of close to the start. Hello. Hi, Hitmanic. Hi, good evening. Thanks for being. Yes, exactly. Let's go. He had been one of the officers in charge of the convict guard there. Had he any friends in town? Hi, Guy. Hello. And thank you for the headpads, Bailey. Nice outfit. Ooh, you can't see my outfit. All you see are my sleeves and my collar. Thanks, though. Thanks. Only one that we know of, Major Sholto of his own regiment, the 34th Bombay Infantry. The major had retired some little time before and lived at Upper Norwood. We communicated with him, of course, but he did not even know that his brother officer was in England. A singular case, remarked Holmes. You guys love the disguise tonight. It's great. It's so funny. I have not yet described to you the most singular part. About 6 years ago, to be exact, upon the 4th of May, 1882, an advertisement appeared in Times asking for the address of Miss Mary Morstan and stating that it would be to her advantage to come forward. There was no name or address appended. I had at that time just entered the family of Mrs. Cecil Forrester in the capacity of governess. By her advice, I published my address in the advertisement column. The same day, there arrived through the post a small cardboard box addressed to me, which I found to contain a very large and lustrous pearl. No word of writing was enclosed. Since then, every year upon the same date, there has always appeared a similar box containing a similar pearl, without any clue as to the sender. Oh, okay, so then I guess maybe she's assuming that it's her father. But why wait so long? And why send her a pearl? And it's not even, but it's not even like a special date. She just said it's a random date. May 4th. Oh my god, Star Wars. Star Wars wasn't out yet in 1882 though. So, I don't know. May the 4th be with you. It's funny. They have been pronounced by an expert to be of a rare variety and of considerable value. Hi, Kenzie. Hello. We read. We do reading ASMR here at this place. It is okay. Do not fret and do not fear. You are okay. It is soft, it is comfy, and you are welcome to stay, and welcome to fall asleep, or welcome to listen along. Either way, we are watching. We're not watching nothing. We are reading the second Sherlock Holmes book. Oh my god, Mr. Manager, you're so right. Star Wars was a long time ago. The movies are super recent comparatively. Maybe it is because of Star Wars. How could I not remember? Of course, Kenzie. I am glad to provide. You can see for yourselves that they are very handsome. She opened a flat box as she spoke and showed me 6 of the finest pearls that I had ever seen. So she held on to them. I would have assumed that they were sent to her maybe to sell and get money from, but I guess not. Yeah, Sherlock's got it. He knows everything. Your statement is most interesting, said Sherlock Holmes. Has anything else occurred to you? Yes, and no later than today. That is why I have come to you. This morning I received this letter, which you will perhaps read for yourself. Kenzie, it's my first time reading it, so if you've read these before and it's been a while, then I hope you enjoy the little throwback and the little reminder of what they're about. I'm having a fun time. Hey, I saw this boat in half. Thank you for the lurk. But yeah, Kenzie, I'm having a great time because it's my first time, and I just love learning and like seeing Sherlock be addicted to cocaine, apparently. Like, what the fuck is this? He's funny. Question. Thank you, said Holmes. The envelope too, please. Postmark, London, SW. Date, July 7th. Man's thumb mark on corner, probably postman. Best quality paper. Envelope at 6p a packet. Oh my god. Emmy. Or is it Emmy Enchanted? It's probably Emmy Enchanted. Hello. Thank you so much for the raid. Hi everybody. Shark bait. Hoo-ah. Shark bait. Let's go. Hi guys. Hello. Thank you so much for the raid. And thank you for the follow, Chubby. This is awesome. Hi. My name is Sailor. I am a sea Samoyed, so I'm an ocean dog. I do reading ASMRs on Mondays and Tuesdays, and I do gaming on Thursday. But clearly it's a Tuesday, so you got us here for our ASMR. How was your stream today? Was your stream great? Did it go well? Thank you for the follow, Emmy. Kenzie, your message is cracking me up. It's a raid. Run for your lives. That's funny. Emmy, I hope you had a good stream. Thank you so much for choosing me. And hi, EJ. Did you send her this way? That's so nice of you. Hello. No address. Be at the 3rd pillar from the left outside outside the Lyceum Theater tonight at 7 o'clock. If you are distrustful, bring 2 friends. You are a wronged woman, and shall have justice. Do not bring police. If you do, all will be in vain. Your unknown friend. Why is she getting threatened? What the frick? Oh my god. Your stream was great. That's awesome. Oh, that is so fine. That is so fine. Well, thank you, EJ, for choosing me. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful night and that you sleep so well. And thank you. Thank you for the compliment on my model. It's so nice. Good night, good night. Yet maybe, maybe not. Oh no. What did Kenzie do? Oh no. Kenzie had me a-laughing. I must have missed a message. Oh no. Well, that's how it goes. Gotta follow the rules, and if you don't follow the rules, out you go. Rip Kenzie. Oops, so well. Funny. Hey, biggest bird, what's up? Hello. Oi, babe. Well, really, this is a very pretty little mystery. What do you intend to do, Miss Morstan? Yeah, I mean, from what I saw, Kenzie didn't do anything, but I trust Benzo. But like, Benzo, if you'll message me to let me know what they did, I'd appreciate it. But yeah, we trust Benzo. Benzo does real good, real hard work. I take everything he says. He says, ban this person. I say, yes, sure. No questions asked. Hi, Dr. Gnome. Thank you so much for the follow. Hello. Okay. Well, really, this is a very pretty little mystery. What do you intend to do, Mrs. Morstan? That is exactly what I want to ask you. Then we shall most certainly go. You and I, and yes, why Dr. Watson is the very man. Your correspondent says 2 friends. He and I have worked together before. Oh. Wait, this is like a setup to get Sherlock to come, specifically? Huh. Oh, hold on. Let me look at something. Oh no. Wait. No, wait. Well, Benzo, I don't necessarily think that's nonsense. They were just talking in an old English style, which I honestly really dig. That was cool as shit. I don't necessarily think they said anything strange. It's just old English, which works, because I'm reading a very old book. But, I mean, yeah, you can unban them. I don't mind it. If they end up saying something, then yeah, I'm good on it. But for now, they seem chill. They just speak in English that's a little harder to understand, but I think that's all part of the character. Oh, Salem. Salem. Hello. Hi, everybody. Salem. Thank you so much for coming and rating me again. Let's freaking go. Guys. Okay, first off, Enderman, thank you for the follow. And See You No More'em, thank you for the follow. Yeah, no. Kenzie, you were banned, so you didn't see. I told Benzo you were okay. I told him you were just speaking in really old English. That's a little hard to understand. You are chill. On my part, I think you're okay to continue if you would like. But if you want to play it safe, you can speak in modern English. But your choice. I personally don't mind it. I really enjoyed reading your old English and getting all nice and formal. It was fun, so I don't mind whatever makes you the most comfortable. We apologize for that ban. We're stopping it. We're getting it all fixed. Hi, Blue Jay. Thank you so much for the follow. And, yes, Salem. Thank you. I'm so glad to see you again. Everybody, Salem is a fellow Prism sister. She's a calico cat. You should go check her out. She's so cute. Her design is so cute. Go check out Salem. Go check out Salem. Oh, okay. Let me make sure I'm all caught up on my messages. Yeah. See, that's exactly what I told Benzo. I said that you were probably speaking in old formal English because I was reading an old book. I understand you. I got you. You are good. You are good here. Do not worry. Benzo is just looking out. He is just trying his best to be super on top of it. Like God Any Scooby Snack says, he is a wonderful mod. He was just doing his best. It is okay. No harsh feelings. We are all good all around. Everybody's okay. Everybody's fine. Okay. Salem, was your stream good? Did it go well? Yeah, Kenzie absolutely can speak in Old English. I don't mind it at all. That's up to Kenzie. Whatever she decides. Whatever she's comfortable with. Totally fine. But Salem, I hope you had a good stream. I hope it was good. We are going to get back to reading because we have been off topic for just a little bit. Oh, yes, it was great. Oh, yes. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, it can get... Hi, Rayyan. Thank you so much for the headbeds. Yeah, it can get really interesting when you're, like, first getting into VTubing and how to kind of, like, understand all the intricacies of it. I completely get it. Yeah, exactly. It can be a little complex. For sure. Yeah, you're good. You are good. You're good, Kenzie. Well, again, Salem, thank you so much for coming over and raiding. I appreciate it. Okay. But would he come? She asked, with something appealing in her voice and expression. I should be proud and happy, said I, fervently, if I can be of any service. You are both very kind, she answered. Oh, that's the wrong button. Oh, gosh darn it. Let me mute so you don't have to hear me adjust my mouse sensitivity. Okay. I pressed my mouse sensitivity instead of my scroll wheel. You are both very kind, she answered. I have led a retired life and have no friends whom I could appeal to. If I am here at 6, it will do, I suppose. You must not be later, said Holmes. There is one other point, however. Is this handwriting the same as that upon the pearl box addresses? I have them here, she answered, producing half a dozen pieces of paper. Good night, Chubby. Thank you so much for being here. Good night, good night. Sleep well. You are certainly a model client. You have the correct intuition. Let us see now. He spread out the papers upon the table and gave little darting glances from one to the other. They are disguised hands, except for the letter, he said presently. But there can be no question as to the authorship. See how the irrepressible Greek E will break out, and see the twirl of the final S. They are undoubtedly by the same person. I should not like to suggest false hopes Miss Morstan. But is there any resemblance between this hand and that of your father? Nothing could be more unlike. I expected to hear you say so. We shall look out for you then, at 6. Pray allow me to keep the papers. I may look into the matter before then. It is only 3:30. Au revoir, then. Au revoir, said our visitor, and with a bright, kindly glance from one to the other of us, she replaced her pearl box in her bosom and hurried away. Standing at the window, I watched her walking briskly down the street until the gray turban and white feather were but a speck in the somber crowd. What a very attractive woman, I exclaimed, turning to my companion. I am good. How are you today? I'm good. Work was it was long and it was tedious. And then I had an argument with my mother. But it's okay. We're all good now. We're reading and we're streaming and we're having a great time. I'm all excited. But how was your day? I hope it was good too. He had lit his pipe again and was leaning back with drooping eyelids. Is she? He said languidly. I did not observe. You really are an automatron, a calculating machine, I cried. There is something positively inhuman in you at times. Yeah, just woke up. Crazy. Thanks for tuning in. So early for you. Thank you. He smiled gently. It is of the first importance, he said, not to allow your judgment to be biased by personal qualities. A client is to me a mere unit, a factor in a problem. The emotional qualities are antagonistic, thank you, enunciation, to clear reasoning. I assure you, oh, I've got a cat. I've got a cat over here. She might jump up on my lap. Hey, Bridget. Hey, Bridget. Hey, do you mind maybe staying on the floor? Please and thank you. No. Oh, okay, no. Hold on, sorry. Meow, for real. She's gonna meow if she comes up here. I just don't want her hitting the microphone. I don't have a stand. Puppies. I don't have a stand for my microphone, so it's on my desk. It sits right in front of me, right on the edge, so that it's close to me. And so when they jump up here, it hits the desk, and then it hits the microphone. And I just want to try and keep it as quiet as possible for you guys. Hopefully she's okay and occupied now. Oh, no, she came up here anyways. Okay, hold on. Hey, Brittany. Let me move this cord, hold on. Hey, honey bunny. Hey, girly. Okay, if you're gonna be up here, you've got to lay down. The purrs. You got it. Yeah, you gotta lay down. Okay, is this good enough for you? Okay, that's good enough for me. Let's kick it. Oh, that was not good enough for her. She hit the mic. What are you doing? Lay down, my love. Lay down. Let me read. Yes, hello. Hi, Pepe. Okay. I assure you that the most winning woman I ever knew was hanged for poisoning 3 little children for their insurance money, and the most repellent man of my acquaintance is a philanthropist who has spent nearly $250,000 upon the London poor. In this case, however, I never make exceptions. An exception disproves the rule. Have you ever had... Hold on, I'll let you guys just listen. purse, kitty, kitty, kitty purse. Have you ever had occasion to study character in handwriting? What do you make of this fellow's scribble? It is legible and regular, I answered, a man of business habits and some force of character. Hi Sakai, thank you so much for following. Hello. What breed? She's just a regular tabby, I think. She's a short hair tabby. Brown and then dark brown stripes all over her. Hello, Brittany. She's got a bit of a squished face though. I think that makes her something different. A more specific type because she's got a little squishy face, but in general, I'd say she's a tabby. Holmes shook his head. Look at his long letters, he said. They hardly rise above the common herd. That D might be an A, and that L an E. Men of character always differentiate their long letters. However, allegedly. I hate when a word is cut off at the end of a sentence and they have to hyphenate it, because then I don't always know what that word is going to be. A tabby feline whose visage is somewhat compressed, yet endears itself with singular charm. Cute. There in vacillation, in his case and self-esteem in his capitals. I am going out now. I have some few references to make. Let me recommend this book, one of the most remarkable ever penned. It is Winwood reads, Martyrdom of Man. I shall be back in an hour. I sat in the window with the volume in my hand, but my thoughts were far from the daring speculations of the writer. My mind ran upon our late visitor, her smiles, the deep rich tones of her voice, the strange mystery which overhung her life. If she were 17 at the time of her father's disappearance, she must be 27 now, a sweet age, when youth has lost its self-consciousness and become a little sobered by experience. Thanks for the lurk! So I sat and mused until such dangerous thoughts came into my head that I hurried away to my desk and plunged furiously into the latest treatise upon pathology. What was I, an army surgeon with a weak leg and a weaker banking account, that I should dare to think of such things? She was a unit, a factor, nothing more. If my future were black, it was better surely to face it like a man than to attempt to brighten it by mere will-o-wisps of the imagination. That's the end of chapter 2. Chapter 3, In Quest of a Solution. Hi, Treat. And posture check. 2 at once. Okay, let me posture check first. Okay, I sat back up all nice and straight. And let me drink some water. Blah, 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 blah. That second sip, it went down harder than the first. Thank you for keeping me hydrated. My presumption is that Benzo might have given them back to you because he feels bad. Yeah. Yep, that's exactly what happened. Yep. Oh my god, Swanky, that sounds so nice. Oh my god, just laying on your stomach watching, what, on your phone or maybe on a laptop or like a tablet? And just, are the lights off? Just chilling? Oh, it sounds so nice. That sounds wonderful. It was 5:30 before Holmes returned. He was bright, eager, and in excellent spirits, a mood which in his case alternated with fits of the blackest depression. There was no great mystery in this matter, he said, taking the cup of tea which I had poured out for him. The facts appear to admit of only one explanation. What? You have solved it already? Well, that would be too much to say. I have discovered a suggestive fact. That is all. It is, however, very suggestive. Nope. Shut up. No. I turned her off. That was the darn Apple AI. I turned her off on my streaming phone, the one that I use to face track me. Oh my god, Benzo. Benzo. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for the gifted sub, Benzo. Let me put you up here. Funny enough. Oh, also, N cute. I'm not certain. Thank you as well for the follow. But Benzo, funny enough, I also, by chance, had your name already prepped as well. Perfect. Let me move you over a smidge. Oh, it's funny as heck. I was anticipating, I was like, who might give me some gifted subs potentially? Let me go ahead and write some names. So, and it's so funny because I have your order correct too. I have Chillin as first and then you as second. I'm freaking psychic. This is great. Benzo, Kenzie, Benzo's great. He is phenomenal. He genuinely, he really doesn't mean that he's sorry. Hi Argus, thank you so much for the follow. And he's very pure of heart. He always means it. He's a very, very great dude. So, he's a wonderful mod, and he did not mean it, and thus, he is repenting. Say thank you. Thank you. And we are all good. Don't fight it, just accept it. Silly. See? It doth bear a significance most profound within my bosom. I love it. Oh gosh. The details are still to be added. I have just found, on consulting the back files of the Times, that Major Sholto of Upper Norwood, late of the 34th Bombay Infantry, died upon the 28th of April, 1882. Kenzie took that sub and she lurked. Thank you for the link. Gosh, I may be very obtuse, Holmes, but I fail to see what this suggests. No? You surprise me. Okay, have a wonderful, wonderful night. Good night, I hope you sleep well. Look at it in this way. Hydrate. Okay. Let me drink some water. Oh yeah. Water down the pipe. 1 second. I drink water and it makes me burp. I don't know why. But I had to mute. You are not hearing that. That was not for you to hear. Major Sholto denies having heard that he was in London. Actually, I don't know if I read the sentence before. The only person in London whom he could have visited is Major Sholto. Major Sholto denies having heard that he was in London. 4 years later, Sholto dies. Within a week of his death, Captain Morstan's daughter receives a valuable present, which is repeated from year to year, and now culminates in a letter which describes her as a wronged woman. What wrong can it refer to except this deprivation of her father? And why should the presents begin immediately after Sholto's death, unless it is that Sholto's heir knows something of the mystery and desires to make compensation? Have you any alternate theory which will meet the facts? You think it's drinking too fast, for real? What else am I supposed to do? I'm just drinking normally. But what a strange compensation, and how strangely made. Why, too, should he write a letter now, rather than 6 years ago? Again, the letter speaks of giving her justice. What justice can she have? It is too much to suppose that her father is still alive. There's no other injustice in her case that you know of. There are difficulties. There are certainly difficulties, said Sherlock Holmes pensively. But our expedition of tonight will solve them all. Ah, here is our four-wheeler, and Miss Morstan is inside. Are you all ready? Then we had better go down, for it is a little past the hour. I packed up my hat and my heaviest stick, but I observed that Holmes took his revolver from his drawer and slipped it into his pocket. It was clear that he thought that our night's work might be a serious one. Miss Morstan was muffled in a dark cloak, and her sensitive face was composed but pale. What's down your gum? Is this a reference? I don't know. Is this a reference? My gun. I mean, my brain says to say pew pew pew, but I'm trying to think of some water noises. What if it goes like blub blub blub? That's my gun. It goes blub blub blub. Look, I haven't played the Red Dead Redemptions. I assume that's Red Dead, right? That's Red Dead. I haven't played them. I need to. I really want to. I just haven't. I started the first one, and I got to where you go and you infiltrate the stronghold or whatever it is that your old friend is in, and then after that you unlock the next part of the map. It's your first time unlocking the map. I've played up through there, so I think that's like 1/4 of the game or something. So I haven't played much, but I would love to play more. Yeah, 2 I think is like the really like popular one. I know that one's got the Red Dead Online, so I know they're good games. I need to play them. Okay, she must have been more than woman if she did not feel some uneasiness at the strange enterprise upon which we were embarking. Yet her self-control was perfect, and she readily answered the few additional questions which Sherlock Holmes put to her. Yeah, Arthur, that's the first one, right? That's his name in the first one. Yeah, I think, question mark. I think. Oh, Swanky, that sucks. Guys, don't spoil it for me. Don't spoil it. Oh, Arthur is 2 and John is 1. I don't remember. What is my dog doing? Major Sholto was a very particular friend of Papa's, she said. His letters were full of allusions to the Major. He and Papa were in command of the troops of the Adamant Islands. Oh my god, Arya, hi! Hello! Hello! Hi, everybody, this is Arya. She is a fellow ASMRist. She's so good. Is your karaoke coming up, or was that last night? It's coming up, right? Because I don't think your title said anything about karaoke last night. Oh, I don't remember. It was like 3 in the morning. Is it soon though? Twitches. As she types, I suggest everyone goes and follows Arya. She's so cute. Thanks for coming in and saying hello. First time chat, let's go. Welcome to my ASMR. Much different than yours. And here's the issue. I get so excited I forget what I just read. I think we are at this point. By the way, a curious paper was found in Papa's desk, which no one could understand. I don't suppose that it is of the slightest importance, but I thought you might care to see it, so I brought it with me. It is here. Holmes unfolded the paper carefully and smoothed it out upon his knee. He then, very methodically, examined it all over with his double lens. It is paper of native Indian manufacture. How does he know? How does he know this stuff? Sherlock. He remarked, "It has at some time been pinned to a board. The diagram upon it appears to be a plan of part of a large building with numerous halls, corridors, and passages." Wait, so it's a blueprint? It's a blueprint. Okay. At one point is a small cross done in red ink, and above it is 3.37 from left in faded pencil writing. In the left-hand corner is a curious hieroglyphic, like 4 crosses in a line with their arms touching. Beside it, it is written in very rough and coarse characters, the sign of the 4, Jonathan Small, Mahomet Singh, Abdullah Khan, Dost Akbar. Now, I confess that I do not see how this bears upon the matter, yet it is evidently a document of importance. It has been kept carefully in a pocketbook, for the one side is as clean as the other. It was in his pocketbook that we found it. Preserve it carefully then, Miss Morstan, for it may prove to be of use to us. I begin to suspect that this matter may turn out to be much deeper and more subtle than I at first supposed. I must reconsider my ideas. He leaned back in the cab, and I could see by his drawn brow and his vacant eye that he was thinking intently. Miss Morstan and I chatted in an undertone about our present expedition and its possible outcome, but our companion maintained his impenetrable reserve until the end of our journey. It was a September evening, and not yet 7 o'clock, but the day had been a dreary one, and a dense, drizzly fog lay low upon the great city. Mud-colored clouds drooped sadly over the muddy streets. Down the Strand, the lamps were but misty splotches of diffused light, which threw a feeble circular glimmer upon the slimy pavement. The yellow glare from the shop windows streamed out into the steamy, vaporous air, and threw a murky, shifting radiance across the crowded thoroughfare. There was, to my mind, something eerie and ghost-like in the endless procession of faces which flitted across these narrow bars of light. Sad faces and glad, haggard and merry. Like all humankind, they flitted from the gloom into the light, and so back into the gloom once more. I am not subject to impressions, but the dull, heavy evening, with the strange business upon which we were engaged, combined to make me nervous and depressed. I could see from Miss Morstan's manner that she was suffering from the same feeling. Holmes alone could rise superior to petty influences. He held his open notebook upon his knee. I was just checking what that sound is. I think it's my car. My car. My dog. Car-y. What in the world? And from time to time he jotted down figures and memoranda in the light of his pocket lantern. At the Lyceum Theater, the crowds were already thick at the side entrances. In front, a continuous stream of hansoms and four-wheelers were rattling up, discharging their cargoes of shirt-fronted men and beshawled, bediamonded women. We had hardly reached the third pillar, which was our rendezvous, before a small, dark, brisk man in the dress of a coachman accosted us. "Are you the parties who come with Miss Morstan?" he asked. "I am Miss Morstan, and these two gentlemen are my friends," she said. He bent a pair of wonderfully penetrating and questioning eyes upon us. "You will excuse me, miss," he said, with a certain dogged manner, "but I was to ask you to give me your word that neither of your companions is a police officer." "I can give you my word on that," she answered. He gave a shrill whistle, on which a street arab led across a four-wheeler and opened the door. The man who had addressed us mounted to the box while we took our places inside. We had hardly done so before the driver whipped up his horse, and we plunged away at a furious pace through the foggy streets. The situation was a curious one. We were driving to an unknown place, on an unknown errand, yet our invitation was either a complete hoax, which was an inconceivable hypothesis, or else we had a good reason to think that important issues might hang upon our journey. Miss Morstan's demeanor was as resolute and collected as ever. I endeavored to cheer and amuse her by reminiscences of my adventures in Afghanistan, but, to tell the truth, I was myself so excited at our situation and so curious as to our destination that my stories were slightly involved. "Oh my god, Benzo, look at you winning that raffle. Good shit. Or not the raffle, the gamble. Good job. Good job." Oh, and then you lost it. Never mind. That sucks. Your Icarus, you flew too close to the sun. You needed to give it a little bit of space after you got it, you know. To this day, she declares that I told her one moving anecdote as to how a musket looked into my tent at the dead of night, and how I fired a double-barreled tiger cub at it. At first, I had some idea as to the direction in which we were driving, but soon, what with our pace, the fog, and my own limited knowledge of London, I lost my bearings and knew nothing, save that we seemed to be going a very long way. Hi, Yemi. Thank you so much for the follow. Hello. Sherlock Holmes was never at fault, however, and he muttered the names as the cab rattled through squares and in and out by tortuous by-streets. "Hello." "Hello, hi. "Rochester Row," said he. "Now Vincent Square." Now we come out on the Vauxhall Bridge Road. We are making for the Sherry side, apparently. Yes, I thought so. Now we are on the bridge. You can catch glimpses of the river. We did indeed but a fleeting view of a stretch of the Thames? I think it's Thames. I'm gonna go with Thames. With the lamps shining upon the broad, silent water. But our cab dashed on, and was soon involved in a labyrinth of streets upon the other side. Wordsworth Road, said my companion. Priory Road. Larkhill Lane. Stockwell Place. Robert Street. Cold Harbor Lane. Our quest does not appear to take us to very fashionable regions. We had indeed reached a question. What the frick was that? I didn't touch anything. I swear to God, I did not touch anything. We had indeed reached a questionable and forbidding neighborhood. Long lines of dull brick houses were only relieved by the coarse glare and tawdry brilliancy of public houses at the corner. Then came 2 rows of 2-storied villas, each with a fronting of miniature garden, and then again interminable lines of new staring brick buildings, the monster tentacles which the giant city was throwing out into the country. At last the cab drew up at the 3rd house in a new terrace. None of the other houses were inhabited, and that at which we stopped was as dark as its neighbors. Okay. A ghost. Yeah, it was a ghost. I promise. It was a ghost that hit my desk. However, no apologies. Save for a single glimmer in the kitchen window. On our knocking, however, the door was instantly thrown open by a Hindu servant clad in a yellow turban, white, loose-fitting clothes, and a yellow sash. There was something strangely incongruous in this oriental figure framed in the commonplace doorway of a 3rd-rate suburban dwelling house. "The Sahib awaits you," said he, and even as he spoke, there came a high, piping voice from some inner room. "Show them to me. Kit Mudgar," he cried. "Show them straight in to me." Oh, that was the end of the chapter. We ended the chapter. Okay. My paper. Okay. Chapter 4. The story of the bald-headed man. What a great chapter title. We followed the Indian down a sordid and common passage, ill-lit and worse furnished, until he came to a door upon the right, which he threw open. A blaze of yellow light streamed out upon us, and in the center of the glare there stood a small man with a very high head, a bristle of red hair all around the fringe of it, and a bald, shining scalp which shot out from among it like a mountain peak from fir trees. He writhed his hands together as he stood, and his features were in a perpetual jerk, now smiling, now scowling, but never for an instant in repose. Nature had given him a pendulous lip and a too visible line of yellow and irregular teeth, which he strove feebly to conceal by constantly passing his hand over the lower part of his face. In spite of his obtrusive baldness, he gave the impression of youth. In point of fact, he had just turned his 13th year. No, his 30th year. Okay. Oh, good. Those words look so similar when they're written out. Apologies. I was about to say, there's no way this leader's only 13. Your servant, Miss Morstan. Huh? He kept repeating in a thin, high voice. Your servant, gentlemen. Pray step into my little sanctum. A small place, miss, but furnished to my own liking, an oasis of art in the howling desert of South London. We were all astonished by the appearance of the apartment into which he invited us. In that sorry house, it looked as out of place as a diamond of the first water in a settling of brass. The richest and glossiest of curtains and tapestries draped the walls, looped back here and there to expose some richly mounted painting or oriental vase. The carpet was of amber and black, so soft and so thick that the foot sank pleasantly into it, as into a bed of moss. 2 great tiger skins thrown athwart it increased the suggestion of Eastern luxury, as did a huge hookah which stood upon a mat in the corner. A lamp, in the fashion of a silver dove, was hung from an almost invisible golden wire in the center of the room. As it burned, it filled the air with a subtle and aromatic odor. "Mr. Thaddeus Sholto," said the little man, still jerking and smiling. "That is my name. You are Miss Morstan, of course. And these gentlemen? This is Mr. Sherlock Holmes, and this is Mr. Watson." "A doctor, eh?" "Hi, Jonathan. Thank you so much for the follow," cried he, much excited. "Have you your stethoscope? Might I ask you, would you have the kindness? I have grave doubts as to my mitral valve, if you would be so very good. The aortic I may rely upon, but I should value your opinion upon the mitral." I listened to his heart. Wait, so he did just have his stethoscope with him? Why? Watson, why did you bring your stethoscope? And hi, Jonathan. I am good. I'm enjoying myself reading. How are you? Are you having a great night? But was unable... He's a doctor. Yeah, duh. Silly me. I should have... Of course. But was unable to find anything amiss, save indeed that he was in ecstasy of fear, for he shivered from head to foot. "It appears to be normal," I said. "You have no cause for uneasiness." "You will excuse my anxiety, Miss Morstan," he remarked airily. "I am a great sufferer, and I have long had suspicions as to that valve. I am delighted to hear that they are unwarranted. Had your father, Miss Morstan, refrained from throwing a strain upon his heart, he may have been alive now." "You're exhausted. Why don't you go to sleep?" Go sleepies. Get some good rest." I could have struck the man across the face, so hot was I at this callous and offhand reference to so delicate a matter. Miss Morstan sat down, and her face grew white to the lips. "I knew in my heart that he was dead," said she. "I can give you every information," said he, "and, what is more, I can do you justice, and I will, too, whatever Brother Bartholomew may say. I am so glad to have your friends here, not only as an escort to you, but also as witnesses to what I am about to do and say." Yeah, that's true. Big thunders that like shake the house almost. Those are hard to sleep to for sure. The 3 of us can show a bold front to Brother Bartholomew, but let us have no outsiders, no police or officials. We can settle everything satisfactorily among ourselves without any interference. Nothing would annoy Brother Bartholomew more than any publicity. He sat down upon a low seat and blinked at us inquiringly with his weak, watery blue eyes. Yeah. Okay, great. Thank you so much for lurking, although I don't think it went through, interestingly enough. Penzo, do you see that? He typed typed lurk, but oh yeah. I have a command. I don't know why it didn't go off. I wonder if it's because it was at the end of your message. Yeah, there you go, there you go. Good night. I hope you're able to sleep. Sleep well, sleep well. Oh, Cameron, hi. Thank you so much for the follow. Good evening. For my part, said Holmes, whatever you may choose to say will go no further. I nodded to show my agreement. That is well, said he. May I offer you a glass of Chianti, Miss Morstan, or of Tokay? I keep no other wines. Shall I open a flask? No? Well then, I trust that you have no objection to tobacco smoke. Why? My southern accent was coming out right there. Why was I trying to say smake? Guys, ignore my accent. I apologize. It slips out sometimes. To the mild balsamic odor of the Eastern tobacco. I am a little nervous, and I find my hookah to an invaluable sedative. He applied a taper to the great bowl, and the smoke bubbled merrily through the rose water. No, it sounded more like S-M-A-K-E, tobacco smike. Like, what the heck, bro? Stupid. Gosh. We sat, all three, in a semicircle, with our heads advanced, and our chins upon... Hi, Shaggy. Thank you so much for the follow. And Bento, you better do it. Arya is fainting. She needs the raffle. With our chins upon our hands, while the strange, jerky little fellow, with his high, shining head... Hi, Cyanide. Thank you so much for the follow. You got it, Arya. I believe in you. I believe in you. I believe in you. With his high, shining head puffed uneasily in the center. When I first determined to make this communication to you, said he, I might have given you my address, but I feared that you might disregard my request and bring unpleasant people with you. I took the liberty, therefore, of making an appointment. Oh, page turn. Who won? Arya, you won. Arya, you fucking won. Let's go. Let's go. Hi, Billy Goats. Thank you so much for the follow. Welcome on in here. That's right. Okay, now I have to bless you, Benzo. Benzo, you're gonna win it. You got it. You're gonna win it. Let's go. Making an appointment in such a way that my man Williams might be able to see you first. I have complete confidence in his discretion, and he had orders, if he were dissatisfied, to proceed no further in the matter. You will excuse these precautions, but I am a man of somewhat retiring, and I might even say refined tastes, and there is nothing more unaesthetic than a policeman. Benzo, you did win! Oh my god, what the heck? That's crazy. Also, okay, Arya, you lost all your seaweed, but Coral, you came back and you freaking won your seaweed. Let's go. And then Benzo, you lost yours. That sucks. That's so funny. Good luck in the raffle. I have a natural shrinking from all forms of rough materialism. I seldom come in contact with a rough crowd. I live, as you see, with some little atmosphere of elegance around me. I may call myself a patron of the arts. It is my weakness. The landscape is a genuine Corot, and, through a connoisseur, might perhaps throw a doubt upon that Salvator Rosa. There cannot be the least question about the Bouguereau. That's a French word. I am partial to the modern French school. You will excuse me, Mr. Sholto, said Miss Morstan, but I am here at your request to learn something which you desire to tell me. It is very late, and I should desire the interview to be as short as possible. How are y'all doing? Y'all need to, y'all need to get your points and then sit on them for a few minutes and then gamble, you know? You will excuse me, Mr. Sholto, said Miss Morstan. I feel like I already read this paragraph. I'll read it again, I don't know, said Miss Morstan, but I am here at your request to learn something which you desire to tell me. It is very late, and I should desire the interview to be as short as possible. At the best, it must take some time, he answered, for we shall certainly have to go to Norwood and see Brother Bartholomew. We shall all go and try if we can get the better of Brother Bartholomew. He is very angry with me for taking the course which has seemed right to me. I had quite high words with him last night. You cannot imagine. Hi, Hanan. Thank you so much for the follow. You cannot imagine what a terrible fellow he is when he is angry. If we are to go to Norwood, it would perhaps be as well to start at once, I ventured to remark. He laughed until his ears were quite red. That would hardly do, he cried. I don't know what he would say if I brought you in that sudden way. No, I must prepare you by showing you how we all stand to each other. In the first place, I must tell you that there are several points in the story of which I am myself ignorant. I can only lay the facts before you as far as I know them myself. My father was, as you may have guessed, Major John Sholto, once of the Indian Army. He retired. Yeah, Coral, you're doing great. He retired some 11 years ago and came to live at Pondicherry Lodge in Upper Norwood. He had prospered in India and brought back with him a considerable sum of money, a large collection of valuable curiosities, and a staff of native servants. Benzo, you are going to win this raffle. I know it. You're gonna win. You're gonna win. You got it. You can do it. You are gonna win it. With these advantages, he bought himself a house and lived in great luxury. My twin brother Bartholomew and I were the only children. I very well remember the sensation which was caused by the disappearance of Captain Morstan. We read the details in the papers. Oh, sorry, Benzo, it didn't work that time. And, knowing that he had been a friend of our father's, we discussed the case freely in his presence. Coral 2 exclamation point seaweed. He used to join in our speculations as to what could have happened. Never for an instant did we suspect that he had the whole secret hidden in his own breast, that of all men he alone knew the fate of Arthur Morstan. Everyone, Benzo's asking you to give him a little bit, just a little bit of seaweed. Everyone, can you give Benzo 2 seaweed? Just 2. Here, I'll even join in. Come here. Oh, I'm gonna mute. Okay, I don't know if this is how it works. Yes, there we go. Mr. Manager says, no, I will not. Well, hey, Benzo, I gave you 2 seaweed. There you go. You're not starving anymore. You got something. We did know, however, that some mystery, some positive danger overhung our father. He was very fearful of going out alone, and he he always employed 2 prize fighters to act as porters at Pondicherry Lodge. Hi, Marcus. Thank you so much for the follow. Thank you. Benzo, I'm the only person who fed you just now, am I not? No, yes. Yeah, I'm the only person. How are you gonna come out here saying I treat you bad when I asked them to feed you too, and they didn't, and yet I fed you. I am not the devil, I am the saint. So rude. Crazy. Oh gosh. Williams, who drove you tonight, was one of them. He was once lightweight champion of England. Our father would never tell us what it was he feared, but he had a most marked aversion to men with wooden legs. Yeah, crazy. Okay, Coral, thank you so much. Not Swanky doing steel benzo all. That's so funny. That's funny as heck. On one occasion, he actually fired his revolver at a wooden-legged man who proved to be a harmless tradesman canvassing for orders. That was my dog. We had to pay a large sum to hush the matter up. My brother and I used to think that a mere whim of my father's, but events have since led us to change our opinion. Early in 1882, my father received a letter from India, which was a great shock to him. Also, give me a second, I have an idea. 2 seconds. Okay. I'm sorry. I went into the red right there with my laugh. I'm sorry. I apologize. Oh god. Okay, Benzo, now you can complain about your working conditions. Oh gosh. Oh, Lord. Early in 1882, I already read that, he nearly fainted. Hi, the Grimy Reaper. Thank you so much for the follow. Thank you. Oh yeah, Benzo, I am most generous. He nearly fainted at the breakfast table when he opened it, and from that day he sickened to his death. Wait, this man read a letter and it killed him? The fuck? What was in the letter we could never discover, but I could see as he held it that it was short and written in a scrawling hand. He had suffered for years from an enlarged spleen, but he now became rapidly worse, and towards the end of April... My cat was jumping off my bed, sorry. We were informed that he was beyond all hope, and that he wished to make a last communication to us. RNG does love Coral. That's crazy. When we entered his room, he was propped up with pillows and breathing heavily. He besought us to lock the door and to come upon either side of the bed. Then, grasping our hands, he made a remarkable statement to us, in a voice which was broken as much by emotion as by pain. I shall try and give it to you in his own very words. I have only one thing, he said, which weighs upon my mind at this supreme moment. Girl. I sit as straight as a board during my ASMR streams because I don't want to risk any sounds from my chair. But it is still redeemed, so I will readjust myself. I will pick myself up and re-sit back down. So, thank you for the posture check. No, but I don't want to make any noises. I'm trying to be nice and quiet. Real quiet, you know. I don't even have my armrest down. I take my jacket off so you don't hear the rustling of my sleeves. I put my armrest up so you don't hear my arms hitting the rests. No. I don't want no scoliosis. Oh no. Don't say it's so. Don't put that on me. No bueno. It is my treatment of poor Morstan's orphan. The cursed greed, which had been my besetting sin through life, has withheld from her treasure, half at least of which should have been hers. And yet I have made no use of it myself. So blind and foolish a thing is a farce. The mere feeling of possession has been so dear to me that I cannot bear to share it with another. See that chaplet dipped with pearls beside the quinine bottle. Even that I could not bear to part with, although I had got it out with the design of sending it to her. You, my sons, will give her a fair share of the Agra treasure, but send her nothing, not even the chaplet, until I am gone. After all, men have been as bad as this and have recovered. Benzo, Coral's over here threatening you. Do another raffle. You won't. No, I don't think there's a way to launder police. I will tell you how Morstan died, he continued. He had suffered for years from a weak heart, but he concealed it from everyone. I alone knew it. When in India, he and I, through a remarkable chain of circumstances, came into possession of a considerable treasure. I brought it over to England, and on the night of Morstan's arrival, he came straight over here to claim his share. He walked over from the station and was admitted by my faithful Lal Chowdar, who is now dead. Morstan and I had a difference of opinion as to the division of the treasure, and we came to heated words. Morstan had sprung out of his chair in a paroxysm of anger when he suddenly pressed his hand to his side. His face turned a dusky hue, and he fell backwards, cutting his head against the corner of the treasure chest. When I stooped over him, I found to my horror that he was dead. Oh, Lord. Yeah, Swinky, the power of friendship. For George Bush. I take it maybe you liked him as a president. You know, our Lord and Savior, George Bush over here, apparently. For a long time, I sat half distracted, wondering what I should do. My first impulse was, of course, to call for assistance, but I could not but recognize that there was every chance that I would be accused of his murder. His death at the moment of a quarrel and the gash in his head would be black against me. Again, an official inquiry could not be made without bringing out some facts about the treasure, which I was particularly anxious to keep secret. He had told me that no soul upon earth knew where he had gone. There seemed to be no necessity why any soul ever should know. I think it's just leaderboard, exclamation point, leaderboard Swanky. I think that's the command. I was still pondering over the matter when, looking up. Oh. That's so funny. Doing leaderboard. I know top 5 works though. If you do exclamation point top 5, that shows you the top 5 seaweed users. Or I think it's just top. Exclamation point top. Yeah, okay, exclamation point top. Yes. Where's me? I'm 3rd. Suck it, losers. I'm 3rd. You'll never beat me. I was still pondering over that matter when, looking up, I saw my servant Lal Chodar in the doorway. He stole in and bolted the door behind him. "Do not fear, Sahib," he said. "No one need know that you have killed him." But he didn't. "Let us hide him away, and who is the wiser?" "I did not kill him," said I. Lal Chodar shook his head and smiled. "I heard it all, Sahib," said he. "I heard you quarrel, and I heard the blow, but my lips are sealed. All are asleep in the house. Let us put him away together." That was enough to decide Med. If my own servant could not believe my innocence, how could I hope to make it good before 12 foolish tradesmen in a jury box? Yeah, I'm second. Yeah, Coral, I know. I'm coming for you, though. I'm coming for you. I'm so close to you, too. That's the crazy part. I'm coming to you. Lal Chodar and I disposed of the body that night, and within a few days, the London papers were full of the mysterious disappearance of Captain Morstan. You will see from what I say that I can hardly be blamed in the matter. My fault lies in the fact that we concealed not only the body, but also the treasure, and that I have clung to Morstan's share as well as to my own. I wish you, therefore, to make restitution. Put your ears down to my mouth. The treasure is hidden in blank. At this instant, a horrible change came over his expression. His eyes stared wildly and his jaw dropped, and he yelled, in a voice which I can never forget, "Keep him out! For Christ's sake, keep him out!" We both stared round at the window behind us, upon which his gaze was fixed. A face was looking in at us out of the darkness. We could see the whitening of the nose, where it was pressed against the glass. It was a bearded, hairy face, with wild, cruel eyes and an expression of concentrated malevolence. My brother and I rushed towards the window, but the man was gone. When we returned to my father, his head had been dropped and his pulse had ceased to beat. Dang. Swanky and Coral, y'all called it. Benzo did win it. That's right, let's go, Mom. Trust in Mom. So this dude had this treasure, and he was about to tell them where it was at, when this person that he's been so fearful of was like in his window, like checking on him to make sure he was dying. So he didn't get to tell him, but like, bro, that's crazy. That's crazy. Benzo. Your sister is your mom's favorite again. That's sad, bro. Trust in yourself. I'm sure she loves you too. We searched the garden that night, but found no sign of the intruder, save that just under the window a single footmark was visible in the flower bed. But for that one trace... Oh no. Oh, I'm sorry, I have a yawn. Well, this this is the last chapter I'm reading. I'll be ending it whenever I finish this, so good thing. It's almost time to go to sleepies for me. But for that one trace, we might have thought that our imaginations had conjured up that wild, fierce face. We soon, however, had another and a more striking proof that there were secret agencies at work all around us. The window of my father's room was found open in the morning. His cupboards and boxes had been rifled, and upon his chest was fixed a torn piece of paper with the words, "The sign of the four," which, everybody, if you'll remember, is the title of our book, scrawled across it. What the phrase meant, or who our secret visitor may have been, we never knew. As far as we can judge, none of my father's property had been actually stolen, though everything had been turned out. My brother and I naturally associated this peculiar incident with the fear which haunted my father during his life, but it is still a complete mystery to us. Let's go, Benzo, win that raffle, or your gamble, win that gamble. The little man stopped to relight his hookah and puffed thoughtfully for a few moments. We had all sat absorbed, listening to his extraordinary narrative. At the short account of her father's death, Miss Morstan had turned... Oh my fucking god. Did you... Please don't... Did you hear my Steam alert? I don't think so, because I'm doing OBS. Thank God. Thank God I switched to OBS. I think if I was still on Streamlabs, you guys would have heard my freaking Steam achievement go off. That thing was loud as hell. Oh, that hurt me so bad. All praise OBS. All praise that I had to switch to OBS because Streamlabs would not work with ASMR. All praise. Gosh. Jesus. Okay, and for a moment I feared that she was about to faint. She rallied, however, on drinking a glass of water, which I quietly poured out for her from a Venetian carafe upon the side table. It wasn't an ASMR achievement, Mr. Manager. I think it was something about, like, fishing up all the junk in the fishing game. You guys have got every piece of junk, I think. I think that's what my achievement was. Sherlock Holmes leaned back in his chair with an abstracted expression and the lids drawn low over his glittering eyes. As I glanced at him, I could not but think how, on that very day, he had complained bitterly of the commonplaces of life. Here, at least, was a problem which would tax his sagacity to the utmost. Walk me like a dog, bitch, walk me like a dog. Mr. Thaddeus Sholto looked from one to the other of us with an obvious pride at the effect which his story had produced. Woof woof. Woof 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 woof. And then continued between the puffs of his overgrown pipe. My brother and I, said he, were, as you may imagine, much excited as to the treasure which my father had spoken of. For weeks and for months we dug and delved in every part of the garden without discovering its whereabouts. It was maddening to think that the hiding place was on his very lips at the moment that he died. We could judge the splendor of the missing riches by the chaplet which he had taken out. Over this chaplet, my brother Bartholomew and I had some little discussion. The pearls were evidently of great value, and he was averse to part with them, for, between friends, my brother was himself a little inclined to my father's fault. He thought, too, that if we parted with the chaplet, It might give rise to gossip and finally bring us into trouble. It was all that I could do to persuade him to let me find out Miss Morstan's address and send her a detached pearl at fixed intervals, so that at least she might never feel destitute. It was a kindly thought, said our companion earnestly. It was extremely good of you. The little man waved his hand deprecatingly. We were your trustees, he said. That was the view which I took of it, though Brother Bartholomew could not altogether see it in that light. We had plenty of money ourselves. I desired no more. Besides, it would have been such bad taste to have treated a young lady in so scurvy a fashion. Les maives got même à crime. Crime? The French have a very neat way of putting these things. Our difference of opinion on this subject went so far that I thought it best to set up rooms for myself. So I left Pondicherry Lodge, taking the old Kit Mudegar and Williams with me. Yesterday, however, I learned that an event of extreme importance has occurred. The treasure has been discovered. I instantly communicated with Miss Morstan, and it only remains for us to drive out to Norwood and demand our share. I explained my views last night to Brother Bartholomew, so we shall be expected, if not welcome, visitors. Mr. Thaddeus Sholto ceased, and sat twitching on his luxurious set. We all remained silent, with our thoughts upon the new development which the mysterious business had taken. Holmes was the first to spring to his feet. You have done well, sir, from first to last, said he. It is impossible that we may be able to make you some small return by throwing some light upon that which is still dark to you. But, as Miss Morstan remarked just now, it is late, and we had the best put the matter through without delay. Our new acquaintance very deliberately coiled up the tube of his hookah and produced from behind a curtain a very long befrogged topcoat with astrakhan collar and cuffs. This he buttoned tightly up in spite of the extreme closeness of the night, and finished his attire by putting on a rabbit skin cap with hanging lappets which covered the ears, so that no part of him was visible save his mobile and peaky face. My health is somewhat fragile, he remarked, as he led the way down the passage. I am compelled to be a valetudinarian. Our cab was awaiting us outside, and our program was evidently prearranged, for the driver started off at once at a rapid pace. Thaddeus Sholto talked incessantly, in a voice. You can get a mussel probably at Walmart. Why is it just sitting on the screen? Wait, it's not on always on, is it? I don't think so. What the heck is? Don't tell me. No, it hasn't always been on. Hold on. What the heck? Did the game just lag a little bit? Is it just breaking, or is that the only thing? No way. Has it been on the whole time? It hasn't been going off. You kill me. You kill me. I swear. That's so weird. Okay. Bartholomew is a clever fellow, said he. How do you think he found out where the treasure was? He had come to the conclusion that it was somewhere indoors. So he worked out all the cubic space of the house and made measurements everywhere, so that not 1 inch should be unaccounted for. Among other things, he found that the height of the building was 74 feet, but on adding together the heights of all the separate rooms, and making every allowance for the space between, which he ascertained by borrowings, he could not bring the total to more than 70 feet. There were 4 feet unaccounted for. These could only be at the top of the building. He knocked a hole, therefore, in the lath and plaster ceiling of the highest room, and there, sure enough, he came upon another little garret above it, which had been sealed up and was known to no one. In the center stood the treasure chest, resting upon 2 rafters. He lowered it through the hole, and there it lies. Hi, Skystream. Thank you so much for the follow. He computes the value of the jewels at not less than £500,000 sterling. At the mention of this gigantic sum, we all stared at one another open-eyed. Miss Morstan, could we secure her rights, would change from a needy governess to the richest heiress in England. Surely it was the place. Thank you, Raikian. And woof to you too, Mr. Manager. Surely it was the place of a loyal friend to rejoice at such news. Yet I am ashamed to say that selfishness took me by the soul, and that my heart turned as heavy as lead within me. I stammered out some few halting words of congratulation, and then sat downcast, with my head drooped. I know, I reached 300, let's go, it's awesome, thank you so much. Deaf to the babble of our new acquaintance, he was clearly a confirmed hypochondriac, and I was dreamily conscious that he was pouring forth interminable trains of symptoms, and imploring information as to the composition and action of innumerable quack nostrums, some of which he bore about in a leather case in his pocket. I trust that he may not remember any of the answers which I gave him that night. Holmes declares that he overheard me caution him against the great danger of taking more than 2 drops of castor oil, while I recommended strychnine in large doses as a sedative. However that may be, I was certainly relieved when our cab pulled up with a jerk and the coachman sprang down to open the door. This, Miss Morstan, is Pondicherry Lodge, said Mr. Thaddeus Sholto as he handed her out. Okay, and that's the end of the chapter. That's the end of chapter 4, which means that's the end of our reading for tonight. We made it through 4 chapters and 17 or 16 pages. Yay, yay. Oh. Hi, I'm Mr. Chico, maybe? Thank you so much for the follow. And thank you, Mr. Manager. You are very welcome. Thank you for being here and appreciating it. OMG, I gotta join the raffle. I don't want that to be too loud. Me. I'm gonna win it. It'll be me. Frick. I didn't win it. Fuck. Of course, Raikian. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, everybody. It's our favorite part of the night. Finding who to raid. Yahoozies. I did not need your seaweed. Also, just Coral, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate it. Oh my gosh, I did not need your darn seaweed, you goofer. Swanky, I'm so sorry. I usually stream for about 2 to 2.5 hours for reading. Only because I get started so late, you know? If I was able to get started earlier, I would definitely go for longer, but it's hard. Okay, let me see who this person is. Oh, okay, nope, we are actually not gonna go to that one. Oh, there, I did it. Go, go, Power Rangers. Oops, I didn't mean to. So funny. How is this person? I'm down. I'm down. Alright. I found someone we're gonna raid. As my dog snores it on up. Silly goofer. Okay. This. I don't know what model she's using, but she's using some model and she's very cute. Not you fishing in the last few seconds. You're so funny. Yes, it looks like I typed it correctly. Yeah, okay, that is our raid message, everybody. We gotta copy it and use it. I finally have a raid message. Oh, Swanky, I will take a suggestion next time. If you're in and you would love to give one, I am headpats, thank you. But I am completely fine with a suggestion next time. It's only because I already chose to do this. But next time I would love to hear who you think, okay? And of course, thank you. Have a great, wonderful night, everybody. Good night. Let your fish go through. No more fishing. Okay, of course, Benzo. Thank you for being here.